If he just wants to spend a whole year earning as much money as possible, then he can just try and push for as much work as he likes. But the key point here is it's his choice. He gets to decide. It's not like his boss is saying, right, you have to work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and you only have so many days of holiday. This guy picks and chooses. If you're a mid-level or above software engineer and you're chasing that next promotion or pay rise, stop. You could be burning so much effort and time with a way smaller return on investment than you could be getting elsewhere. And this is a conversation I had with my last coaching session. So why did I give him this advice? Well, we were having a conversation, what are your goals? What are you trying to work towards? And he was saying about how he's in his late 20s, early 30s, and he hasn't traveled at all. And he wants to just take months off at a time to go live in different places, try different cultures, have different experiences. He's seen the videos of being a digital nomad and he wants a piece of it. And then weirdly enough, in the same conversation, he was telling me, Matt, I'm putting in all the time and effort that I can so that I can get that promotion to senior. Now, this guy was already on good money, and at his position as a mid-level, he was already doing quite a lot of work. And to get this position extra, he was working countless hours after work to pursue it. And I said to him, I was like, well, what about achieving that senior position actually gets you your goal? What about that is actually getting you out to these places? You're still going to be working for the same company where you're on the same hybrid contract, where you have to be in the office, so you're never going to be able to leave for more than a week at a time. And I hope that me saying this now gives you the same wake up that it gave him, because it clicked. He was like, yeah, hold on a minute. Why am I putting in that extra couple hours a day trying to grind to get that next promotion? And the same is true for people who are pushing for that pay rise at the company that really isn't serving them what they're after. So he said, oh, okay, yeah, no, you're right. Maybe I should be looking for different companies, maybe a fully remote role. And again, it's the same problem. It's, okay, you get the fully remote role, but part of what you're saying is that you want to actually spend time in these places, not be working. Well, good luck finding a job that's going to let you take a month off here and a month off there to just go do whatever you want. Now, there are some companies that do that, and in order to get that position, you're looking years down the line of, finding a remote job, becoming very, very valuable to that company, and then having the leverage to say, you know what, I want a couple of months off, maybe unpaid, to go do what I want. It's not outside the realm of possibilities. In the kind of time frame that this guy was talking about, just was not possible. But before we talk about the solutions that we came up with and how he's well on his way to doing it probably within 2 years tops, let's talk about why chasing that pay rise or that promotion is just devastating for your long-term prospects. Let's think about it in terms of return on investment. So it's not uncommon for people to be interested in getting that 10-15% pay rise or that promotion that will achieve that 15 to 25% pay rise. It's not uncommon for that to naturally take at least 6 hours of work a week, going home and learning what you need to learn so that you can increase your capabilities, putting in extra work so that you can stand out, or some combination of the two. Chances are your company works on a yearly pay cycle where you might be somewhere halfway, you might be a full year away. So let's say it's going to take you a year, maybe 2 years to get that promotion that you're after. If it is 2 years, that is 624 hours of grinding that you're spending to get, maybe a £10,000-20,000 pay rise. And that's on the upper end. So let's meet in the middle and say, okay, it's going to be a 15 grand pay rise, you're going to work 620 hours to get there. Well, if we divide that amount of time, and it's not like you get that 15 grand immediately, right? That's then dispersed over the next working year from when you get the pay rise. But let's just simplify it. Let's say, okay, you're working that many hours to get that amount of money in your first year. Your rate is basically £24 an hour. Those 600 hours, if you take the 15,000 that you stand to increase, and you divide that by the 600 hours it will take to get it, that leaves you with £24 or dollars, it doesn't matter. So my question to you is, could you spend those 6 hours per week doing something that pays more than 24 quid an hour? Almost definitely. If you're picking a side hustle that is, building an income based on your software engineering skills, you can almost certainly demand more than 24 an hour. Or let's think of it in terms of the week. 6 hours at 24, that's £144 a week. Could you do something in 6 hours every week that gets you 144 back? Definitely. If you're in a specific niche in your software engineering career, you could do your own consultancy work where you're reaching out to companies and probably charging that much per hour, let alone over 6 hours. In 6 hours a week, over the course of 2 months, you could probably build an application that starts earning you £144 a week. It's not that much money. And what's more important is if you can build an income that is separate from your company, and you're putting in these 6 hours a week and it's growing, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to stop at that magic number of £24 an hour. If you build a good course where you're explaining your niche tech stack in a very concise way, that once it's done, to begin with, it starts earning, 144 a week. But then it starts picking up, it becomes more popular, and it grows to £200, £300, £400 a week. It's not like you're continually putting time into that. You've already done the work. You've set the product aside, and now it sells itself. Maybe you have to work on a little bit of content creation to get eyes on it, but fundamentally, the number to beat was 144 a week. And I'm sure you could sit there now, and between freelancing, consultancy, building a product, a micro SaaS, whether it's starting content creation so that you can market any one of these things, you can probably quite quickly think about, okay, what pay rise am I pushing for? Could I make more than that if I actually broke it down in terms of hours and weeks? Definitely. And the difference is that if you're building products that you can sell that are software based, again, it's only that initial time investment, then it's just marketing. And if you're afraid of doing marketing, why don't you funnel some of your salary into advertising the thing that you've made, and then once it starts selling, well, okay, you take the money from its sales and put it back into marketing instead of using your own money. Then it becomes self-sufficient. The point I'm trying to make is that a lot of people's initial worry would be, oh, it's not worth me doing this thing. It would never overtake my career. Sure, I'm not saying that you're going to earn $100,000 a year from whatever your service is, whether it's something that you work into or a product, but if you think in terms of could you do better than the pay rise that you stand to get, almost definitely. So what plan did me and my client come up with? But before we talk about that, software engineer mentors cost about $66 for just a 45-minute session. I mean, look at this guy. He costs $81. Most of you guys know how to code anyway and do it day in, day out for work, so they probably don't even apply to you. But if you're interested in fast-tracking your career and salary, or you want to start building alternative streams of income with the skills you already have, like this guy who makes $96,000 a year, literally just talking to a camera about what he did that day at work, or this guy who's making $83,000 a month from the SaaS he launched, I can help you start moving towards that. So I've thrown 5 sessions on a Saturday that you can book, and I'm only charging $50. It's the only time I could spare, so once they're gone, they're gone. If you're interested, link in the description. Well, we didn't pick any one of them. You may have seen this in my previous videos where I talk about us being software engineers, Don't just put all your eggs in one basket. We can build things quickly, see if they work, and if they don't, sack them off, try something new. So the plan was a hybrid mixture of content creation and consultancy work. And the idea is that he was making content creation around the consultancy work that he was doing so that he could build authority, because one of the hard things of getting into consultancy is actually having people look at you and be like, this guy who, sure, has 5 to 8 years of software experience, does that mean that actually he's that good as a consultant? But if you're already making content around consultancy and you start growing a bit of a following, then a company can immediately see that you know what you're talking about because you're advertising it and people are bothering to listen to it. And so from that, now, every couple of weekends, he gets a consultancy client. Now, it's not that many now. His content is still quite young. It doesn't have that many followers and it's growing. And the more followers it grows to, the easier it is for him to land consultancy clients. And it becomes this feedback loop of, over time, it's going to get to the point where, maybe in a year, he doesn't have to work full-time anymore. He can just work whenever he wants to because he just puts the feelers out to the companies interested in the consultancy work. And as long as he's just spending a couple of hours here and there feeding the content creation so that it's growing and growing and growing, he's built complete financial independence. And what's more important is that he can work wherever he wants. It's all remote. So now this dream of traveling, if he wants to spend a month in Thailand and then stay there but work a couple of weeks to top up the bank account and then move somewhere else, he can. Or if he just wants to spend a whole year earning as much money as possible, then he can just try and push for as much consultancy work as he likes. But the key point here is it's his choice. He gets to decide. It's not like his boss is saying, right, you have to work 9 to 5 Monday to Friday and you only have so many days of holiday. This guy picks and chooses. Now, I'm not saying that content creation and consultancy work is going to be your golden egg. It might not be the thing that lets you escape the rat race, but what I want you to start thinking about is what actually are your strengths? What are the things that maybe could be making more than whatever that pay rise is that you're chasing? And just take a moment and actually consider how much software engineers can make when they do things independently. Now, if you're struggling for ideas, I actually have a video about 5 software side hustles that can actually make a decent amount of money per month with a minimal time investment. So if you click this video here, I'll take you there. Cheers.